We're live! Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to the November episode of the Interstellar Book Club live discussion, and we're going to be talking about Iron Widow by Xiran J. Zhao.
Can you tell how excited we are?
I feel like this ticked a lot
Love
of
it.
boxes for a lot of different people.
Woo.
Yes.
There was a lot of ticking. If you are here on my channel, you know who I am already, but everybody introduce yourself clockwise.
All right. Hey, my name is Jessa. I'm from the channel Gabbing with Jessa. I like to just talk about books, movies, whatever is, whatever I like, whatever comes up. So I'll pass it on down.
Yay! Hey guys, my name is Steph. Coffee over apples. Oh, right there. Everything pretty much, but mostly sci-fi. Gonna be horror. That's gonna be fixed next year, and fantasy and anime and manga and art. Hey, and I can do this. Mel. There we go.
Hi, I'm Melody from Strawberry 11 Books. I do a lot of vlogs, and yeah, back to Max.
Cool. So, should we just jump in? Well, let's try and do like a bit of non-spoilery stuff first.
Yes. Thanks, Hugo.
We got congrats from Hugo.
Hi to say all the friends in the chat. Say hi. So many friends. Hey, Lois.
Yay.
Thanks for coming by to say hey.
Yay. Hope you're having a good day. Hi. We're doing well.
Very good. Very good.
Yes.
Oh, hello.
We'll do non-spoilers
We'll do non-spoilers
for
first.
that. Yeah, we'll let you know when we get to spoilers.
So, what did everybody give this book out of stars?
I did 4.
Okay, it was a 4 for me as well.
5 for me.
Woo!
5. Ooh. Okay.
I'm so conflicted.
There were so many reasons I wanted to give it a 5.
I want to give it 5, but the truth is it's a 4. But it deserves a 5, but it's a 4.
Exactly.
It's like a really good 4 though.
Yeah.
Because some stuff is 4 and you're like, yeah, I really enjoyed it. But this I was like, this is so good. So I'm giving it a 4-star.
Yes. 4.5. Go for
4.5. Oh, Goodreads, get on your fractions.
Yeah, it's going to be
Right?
2022 soon. Like,
Honestly.
Goodreads, like,
Yeah.
this
We're
is
living in the
I can make
future
a
now.
Simple fix. Like,
Word.
So should we do like a summary of the book, as spoiler free as we can?
I mean, to be honest though, I reread the summary that's on the front jacket this morning after having finished it, and I went, "Yo, this really summarizes the book pretty well. Like,
Okay.
it pretty much tells the whole plot."
I feel like this reminded me so much of like Pacific Rim. This had big Pacific Rim vibes.
I'm so happy.
See, now that you said that, like I can immediately pick, like, yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, even with like the co-pilots as well. Everything. It's very Pacific Rimmy, but that's not a bad thing because Pacific Rim is sick.
It had Pacific Rim vibes. It had Evangelion like origin kind of story stuff. It had Gundam, like what do you call it? Oh my god, the people who make the plans, the strategists, and the people. It's bothering me. It had Gundam vibes. That's not the point. Just throw all the. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, it reminded me of Attack on Titan. So I was like, ooh.
Yeah. Got some if you saw the new anime version of Godzilla that's on Netflix, where they had some like mecha action in there, like pilots fighting against Godzilla, it's got some of that too. Oh, listen. Okay. So this happened. So painful, and it's most of chapter 1. I got the first 42 pages are ripped off.
42 pages.
That's a lot of pages.
That is a lot of pages. I like
no.
reading on the couch, and my dog was next to me, and I was like, I'm gonna go make a cup of tea, and I came back, and it was gone.
That dog cannot be trusted.
Oh my god.
She acts like she doesn't have a million toys around the house. Like, why this? Yes.
Handmaid's Tale, yeah, kinda, yeah. I get that too. Yeah, at least you can pretend it's fine.
Right? Like I gave up annotating after that because she ripped out all my annotations. So I was like, whatever.
No.
Yes, the nostalgia.
It's real.
So good. The trope.
So,
If you love giant monsters and giant robots and action and like political stuff,
yeah.
so good. So good.
I feel like it tricked me, this book. I feel like I was tricked because like it was with the stuff like the Great Wall and the Hunduns and stuff, it kept making me think that it was like an alternate historical thing. And then I kept having to like remind, and it even says in the foreword, like the author wrote like a really good foreword that's like, this is not a history book. Please do not take this as a history book. But I feel like I had to keep reminding myself of that.
Right.
Yes. I loved it. I feel like that became pretty evident when we started to learn more about the world. Maybe like a quarter into the book. Because I can see how it might read as a history book in the beginning, because in the very first like chapter, nothing spoilery, we're in a setting where it's like a poor village, and it could read as like maybe like a medieval times, like maybe 500 years ago kind of setting, but it quickly it becomes high tech and all that stuff. So
yeah, but also it serves to like talk about poverty divide, where some places are literally still like that, like they have not changed since the 1600s, especially in East Asia. Like when they were in the villages, and then later in the book they go to cities and there's like TVs. I was like, what? Like what's happening?
Yeah, they're like, we have skyscrapers.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck?
Someone brought a tablet to the village and we're like, what?
Right.
It's like, huh, what?
Oh my gosh. So it's very interesting. I don't know how to talk about non-spoilers. Okay.
Well,
right.
I do also want to mention, like in the front of the book, like again with like the forward, how it's like, please be aware that this book contains scenes of like violence, abuse, etc., etc. This is something I haven't seen in a book before, and I thought that was really good, because I know there's a lot of talk about whether or not like trigger warnings should be put in front of books now, and I've always gone like back and forth just because I haven't seen it before, being like, well, I don't want to be spoiled for a potential thing that could come up. But then this author was able to do that very well, and I was not spoiled at all. Maybe I knew it was coming, but honestly, I also kind of forgot that I had read that before, because like it just didn't spoil a book like I thought it would, which is why I always like held back from wanting trigger warnings or anything like that before the book. But now that I see how well it can be done, and how it's basically not like, oh, this character is going to go through this, like it's still a surprise, but like it was nice to see that in action when I know that there's been talk about including it or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like there's a big argument to be had about whether that is, because it's useful, but like whether that kind of thing with including that kind of warning removes the author's ability to surprise you with stuff, especially in stuff like horror. And like if you know like this, and this will be coming, like beware. Does that detract from the shock value of things that happen?
I can see where it can, and I can see where it can't. But I think that's an easy solution, is like, for example, if it's a hardback, like how we have this on the front, put the trigger warnings. Everyone knows it's on the back jacket. So everyone, if you don't want to be surprised or spoiled by the triggers, know that you read it back of the jacket. Or if it's back, know that it's maybe right at the end by where the author's photo is or something. So if it's in the same uniform place, then people can choose to read the triggers or not to read the triggers. But speaking of which, and then I want to get to Kat's comment, even though I read this trigger warning, I was not still prepared.
yeah it's like it prepares you, it's coming, but it doesn't prepare you for like the level of horrible things that are coming.
Yes. and we're going to talk about that because I was very confused when triggering things happened, and I was like, "This is awesome! Is this a YA?"
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Why are we
I didn't
sure?
feel like this. This didn't feel like a YA to me.
No,
Mm-mm.
not at all. This
I wonder why it is shelved as YA.
I don't think it should be. For a couple reasons, I don't think it should be. This is one of those situations is why we need a new adult shelf.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like this. Sorry, go on. No, what are you
No,
gonna
I'm
say?
just saying we'll get to that in spoilers.
I feel like this is only shelved as YA because it very on the nose tackles things that YA strives to tackle a lot of the time. So it's like the same thematically as a lot of YA books, as in it tackles a lot of societal structure and sexism and like stuff like that, and it does challenge it. So maybe it's trying to just get in with those books. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, well, hold on. We'll bring Cat's comment back up because we want to look at that. Yeah, especially with stuff like feet binding is like ultra regression into something horrible.
Yeah,
that was gross. That's horrid.
It's just it's so sad.
Yeah.
But side note, on to pointing to Kat's comment. Has anyone watched Futurama? If you have, do you know the episode where in the time capsule and they go through all 3,000 years of history and it's like aliens and technology, but then everything gets broken down and it becomes medieval times again, and then it's like it just keeps like history keeps like repeating itself, that kind of thing.
I feel like humans haven't lived long enough yet to know whether we cycle like that, and it'll be very interesting to know if we do.
It'll
be sad.
Like, it will be sad. Yeah.
Do we?
Do we ever grow up? Probably not.
Does technology provide the combined knowledge that we need to just grow up?
Yeah. It's weird because this book kind of like, it definitely has the opinion that increased technology does not necessarily take us away from barbarism and horrible things. Like that is people. Like, you need to fix people before you start giving them like machines.
Yeah. And it's set in a very traditional culture that has carried these very specific practices for so long.
Yeah.
And it gives a really interesting... Okay. I can't talk without talking about spoilers. Someone take over.
Okay. Should we do like a spoiler line? Does anyone else have things they want to say, like pre-spoiler line?
I just was thinking, just because I actually just checked it, because I saw that this book was nominated for like the Goodreads like awards, and I could have sworn it was like in regular sci-fi, but then I just checked it right now and it is in young adult sci-fi. So you can vote for the Goodreads awards if you care about that. But I was thinking, I'm like, is it in like regular adult sci-fi or does it go to like YA? So it, at least according to Goodreads, yes, it is still categorized as YA. So that's why I was confused, because I'm like, I think I definitely voted for this book for regular like adult sci-fi, but I forgot that it was for YA. So,
but this could be like a gateway book for YA readers into like adult sci-fi.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes. Especially, I feel like it's, I don't know. I feel like it's safe to say that it's hard. It's close to hard sci-fi because we have a clear, structured system that, even though we're learning about it along the way, and there seems to be exceptions to the rule, as there's exceptions in any, story. It's how we get like the chosen one and all that stuff. But we get a clear outline of how these systems work, who's allowed to do what, where. We even get like this little map in the beginning that tells you about the different kinds of energy that are brought together. That was a nice add-on. But this could easily be a TV show, and I would totally binge it.
Oh my god!
Oh, definitely.
This is like so adaptable to film. Oh,
someone pick it up, please.
Yeah.
Let's do.
I feel one thing this book did really well in terms of being adaptable to film was there were so many like hardcore, visually incredible moments, and like you don't often get that. It's like, especially combat is hard to write and like not be boring. but this had like every combat bit in the book was good, like solidly start to finish.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was like very impressed.
Yes. Yes. And the sections where that could have easily become more info dumpy, there, even though sometimes it maybe felt like it a little bit for me, for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed the explanations. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I feel like you did have as well, like Zetian was kind of like the newbie trope where she was being injected into this society that she didn't know about. So we were kind of like learning about it organically with her rather than like being info dumped. So it's like her picking up information, which means we're picking up information as well.
right.
I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
Did anyone else feel like in general it was trope heavy?
It didn't feel like it was written to be a mecha thing. Like I feel like somebody could have very easily sat down and be like, I'm going to write a mecha book. But this was like, I have a really cool idea and like that's a cool part of it,
Mhm.
of my world build.
Right.
Yeah, the chrysalises were freaking
Yeah.
cool as hell. But we're gonna get to that because of spoiler stuff.
Yes.
So cool. I was easily able to imagine everything that was happening.
Yes.
I really wonder like how different everybody's images of everything was, because I know there's some
Probably.
stuff that we like super disagree on, but it's like tiny
Right.
little things. But like
Yeah.
with the chrysalises, I feel like some people are gonna imagine them like monsters, and some of them are very much gonna imagine them like robots, whereas they are something like totally in the middle of that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not the kind of robots like I'm just thinking of like Gundam, Voltron, Power Rangers, like where you see
Yeah.
the different components, where you see the cogs turning. It's not like that at all.
No, not at all.
But I just imagine them massive. And yeah, like of all the things we could have been arguing in the Discord chat, we're arguing over hair, not like how tall is this thing or what color is it?
Oh
I
yeah,
think
didn't
it's just
someone
like we
think
have
someone was bald?
yes.
It's
So
like what?
I feel like we probably just have different like. I feel like I painted over him just because of his vibe. So I imagined Li Shimin as bald, but like not like an egg. I mean like
With a fuzz.
wet, like a wet shaved head, like a skinhead, like punk skinhead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like I feel like that's because that's what I would imagine like a death row prisoner to look like.
Mm.
Mm.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Well, that would make sense if it was a death row prisoner because it's low maintenance.
Yeah.
This was more like for disgrace factor.
That's true. I guess.
He's not satisfied.
Nope.
Yeah, any other like non-spoilery things? There is a romance.
There is a romance. There's
here.
an interesting romance.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
I probably hadn't read a romance like it before.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
I
I haven't.
really enjoyed the romance aspect of it.
Mm.
It wasn't overbearing. Like
Yeah.
it was part of the
Mhm.
story and it was an important part of the story.
Right.
But it wasn't like this becomes the focus and this is the entire story revolves around that.
Yeah.
It's
It is not a romance novel,
yeah.
like at
Yeah.
all in any way. Okay. Are we gonna spoiler line here so we can just start screaming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you haven't read this book and you don't want any spoilers for this book, we're gonna ruin everything in like 5 seconds time. So if you you just go, just leave.
Bye.
This
come back after you read
this
it.
is your warning.
Mhm.
Okay.
Goodness,
Okay,
where do we
we'll
start?
have a little like moment of silence for everybody to like walk out of the back door.
They're like,
Okay.
where is the X button?
Yeah, if you're still here, then it's your fault.
Mhm.
Okay, so we can start screaming now. So just like it's a free for all. Go, go.
The rage. I love her so much.
Me too.
This is the protagonist that is so gray, and I freaking love her because she rages out and she deserves it. But at the same time, man, like she scares me, and I love her.
Yeah, there was
And that's
the
a lot of
constant,
yeah,
No,
a
go
lot
on,
of
go
like
on.
reviews what I was reading was like either people really like loved the rage or like hated the rage. Like reviews where it was like, oh, I love this. It's like empowering. It's like wanting to like get done, and then like other people took it like the negative way and were like, oh, this is just playing off the trope of like the crazy girl kind of thing, just wanting to go nuts. And I'm like, I didn't get that side. I got the
No.
more fun rage
Yeah.
side, so I'm a roll with that.
Oh my gosh, she needs a psychologist. She needs
Oh,
help.
Yeah.
Help her.
definitely.
100%.
It's not her fault.
I feel like there's some characters in some books where you really are trying to figure out their motivation the whole way through and like what makes them tick. But I feel like the question I had at the front of my head as I was reading Zetian was like, is every aspect of her anger justified? Like I know a lot of it is, like probably 90% is, but there's like 10% where I'm like, are you being a dick?
At a
Right.
certain this is where I wished we had more, and this is one of the things that I felt like I wanted to break. I brought down my rating a little bit for is I think especially when it comes to her mother and what happened with her family, that I wanted more of a conversation, a solid conversation between her and her mother. Yes, between her and her mother, of like her trying to convince her mother, like, look,
Pardoned.
this is what I learned. This is the life that we're being led to believe. Like, wake up. And because the one scene where she had with her mother was her kind of accepting or giving her mom some happiness, or what she knows that her mom is still connected to her values of what her mom
Yeah.
was like, gave her duty. When she decided to kill her, I was like, oh, but what if you really talked about it? And I know that rage came from her anger at Zhu, I think was the name of the tortoise pilot.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
rage that was associated with that, I get it, but I also feel for Zhu too. So I don't know.
I think Zhu Young was the character I really wanted to see more from. I thought she was such an interesting character. And like going forward, I would have loved to see more from her in the series.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was okay with everyone dying.
Just everyone.
Like, yep, just off everyone. You go for it.
How
I've been
does
watching
everyone
so
feel
many
about
shows and reading so many books where I just root for people to die, and then I
Yeah,
go and I watch like The Bachelorette, and I'm like, I can't root for these people to die. These are real people, so I just have to root that they get voted off. So
Yeah, rooting for fictional people to just be off.
That's not quite as evil. It's only a little bit evil.
just kind of.
Everyone's death felt epic to me. Like,
Yeah.
there was no one's death where I was like, that was anticlimactic. Like, no, every death was like, wow, that person went splat, or this person went like,
What was everybody's favorite bit of the book?
That's so hard.
For me, it was when they were fucking waterboarding the strategist with vodka.
See,
And they were like
Love
smacking
that.
the crap out of him. I was like,
I-
whoa.
Love
so
it.
many thoughts
So
around
good.
that scene. I have so much I want to say about that scene. Like,
Say it. Say
Go
it
for
away.
it. Yeah.
okay, I love that scene. That is an amazing scene, and that to me is peak. Peak evidence of Zetian is sick and tired of everyone's shit, and she's in villain mode right now, which is totally deserved. However, I have a few different thoughts about that. One being that was a scene that I really sat there and said, "Oh my god, is this really YA?" Because YA
Yeah, I agree.
is like as young as 13-year-olds technically count as YA, and how would I feel if my 13-year-old was reading about waterboarding, torture techniques, and alcohol? I don't know how I feel about that, but I felt Shimin's decision to participate in that action more justified because that was his direct torturer. But for her, I feel like there's a different, like, I would have liked to hear a little bit of inside of her head of, I'm actually torturing someone,
Yeah.
or what that meant emotionally for her.
There was a lot of things she did that I don't feel changed her much as a person. She was like, my rage is turned on now, and then after that, nothing really altered her as a character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like she kind of just pushes everything. Like she doesn't really process.
And
Which is probably why she needs to go see a psychologist. But
Right.
did her the scene where her family gets brought over to the mansion, was that before or after the waterboarding?
That was
before, I think.
That was before.
No, I feel like that was after. I think that might have been after.
I think it was after. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that being after does not compute in my head with her being on. I'm completely shutting off. All I see is red and rage, but I still have a little bit of sympathy and understand, like, want to help my family.
Oh, Kat says it's before.
Is it before?
Yeah.
Okay. So then that makes more sense. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like there should have been. I wanted to feel more of a single point where it's like, this is enough. It felt like I couldn't tell when she started like spiraling out of control. I wanted to like be like, oh shit, now she's gone completely off the rails. And I feel for me, that point came so late. And it was when she like killed her mum. And I was like, oh shit, she's gone too far now. That's it. She's crazy now.
Oh, so much. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
5-star here. Hey.
Yes, I would have liked. I just feel like that moment could have been more of her watching Shimin beginning the torture, and there been oh my gosh, he is becoming like them.
Yeah.
What does that mean for us? When do we get to be what we are wishing that the world was like? And then maybe she still snaps after that, which is totally justified. But I don't know. I just wanted more morality.
A way to maybe do that going forward would be to have her reacting to post all of this stuff, reacting to how the media then presents her.
Right.
Like that might be something interesting that we get in book 2. It's like, she's like, she was painted as like a villain, but like a comic book villain, but like now the media is going to be like, she is a psychopath. Like she is like, and you know that there's no way they're going to paint any of it in a good or even justified light at all. It's going to be like, this is a crazy lady. You know what I mean?
Unless she controls all of media.
I mean, maybe with Yizzy and his power, his $1.4 billion that he now.
Yeah, he has a lot of money now.
So,
what do you think about the whole basis of like the key, like the life force, how everything was ran? Because that's the bit for me that made this feel less like a sci-fi and more like a weird alternate fantasy novel. Like it was all sci-fi except for that one element for me.
Well, technically, I feel like we don't have a clear answer yet.
Yeah, you could be right.
You know, the plot twist at the end was what threw me through a loop, not completely through a loop. Like I saw it coming with the whole, there's gods over the horizon. We get this technology, we make sacrifice. Like, okay, I had a feeling that people were behind that.
Yeah.
But the whole we're not on our own planet thing, that threw me through a loop. And I was like, yes, I love this. We're gonna go to space. But like the answer could be there, I'm hoping. Maybe that is something that all of these people are maybe genetically modified, or I don't know. I'm not entirely sure.
It would make sense how. No, sorry, go on, Melody.
I was just gonna say when they were walking to go defeat the boss or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, it's all luscious and green. How did that happen?" I was like, "Oh, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna be revealed." And then they killed the Iron Demon, and I was like, I totally went out of my mind. And then it came back, and I was like, "No."
Do you think he's really dead?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, considering that it's a, I don't know. I was gonna say, considering that it's a YA, chances are there might be a resurrection, but also considering that this was really hardcore for a YA, maybe
Yeah.
not.
So would you think that the video they sent was fake then of his body?
Was that his body? I thought that was someone else.
I think it was his body because they took his body and she was like, "Oh, I recognize those features of his face anywhere, whatever."
Hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. It's a good
That is
question.
a good question.
I don't know. But yeah, I just wanted, and then also like her brother too. I feel like her brother is also a victim in a way because he's her little brother, and everyone who did the pushing on her and treating her poorly was her parents, her grandparents. And we never really got a conversation between her and her brother as to like how her brother's reacting to her new power or her
Yeah.
fame or the information that she's making available, or maybe her even having a conversation with her brother about how he felt about her big sister. So there were just like, again, like goes to the waterboard and goes to the mother. Like there's certain little conversations that I felt like were missing for me.
Did we ever get a solid answer about why her sister was killed?
Yeah, because she was Shimin's previous. Was she Shimin's? No, it was
Yeah,
quite.
but she
the other
didn't
guy.
die in the chrysalis. She died because he smashed her head against a wall.
Well, wasn't he like raping girls and stuff? Isn't that why she killed him? Additionally, what triggered her killing
But
him?
like, was it just that? Like, because he was a horrible person, there was no like ulterior motive for her doing something that triggered him into like a rage state. Like,
No,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just mistreating. He was the exact kind of a monster that she feared, which is that these girls are going to these guys,
Yeah.
becoming their energy source, and they're just horrible people that are mistreating women. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Well, there's my reason." Yeah. So I liked that we knew the story was going to be about revenge, but that it quickly became more about revenge because the main plot that is discussed in the book jacket, is resolved in like the first 25%, and that it becomes that.
That was good though, because like the jacket is like, here is the premise.
Right.
The rest is a surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Imagine the sister is still alive somewhere and she comes back and says, "What did you do?"
Honestly.
Don't tempt me with a good time. Like that just
I feel like with the chrysalises, there was, but because of what they were shaped like, there was like the moon rabbit who had a giant pestle. There was the headless warrior with like eyes on his chest, and there's the phoenix and stuff. I feel like there's a lot of Chinese mythology that I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was like, like a lot of people. I was reading it. I was like, this clearly means something to someone else. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it makes me want to go away and like look up stuff about that.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Me too. I always love finding books like this, so that way, if there is something that I don't understand, that I feel like it's put in a way well enough where I'm like, ooh, I want to learn more about this, because I think sometimes from all cultures, sometimes they just put things in there and it's just so far like out of left field that I'm just so confused and I don't understand. But when books like this are able to make me more intrigued, I absolutely love it. I'm usually intrigued when I read books from other cultures anyway, just because I'm not familiar with it. But I loved how this made me just instantly want to look up more and learn more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Cat, I agree. When the first transformation happened, I was like, Pokemon.
Yes.
Oh, they have a channel?
They do
That's
have a
really
YouTube
cool.
channel.
They
Yeah,
do.
Yeah.
their videos have been popping up like one video that kept popping up like on my feed was something I believe with Avatar: The Last Airbender and clothing. I
Right.
believe it was. So, and I think also something with the new Mulan, like the new live action Mulan movie. So that was like from a while ago, but that has also been popping up. I haven't had a chance to watch them, and I didn't know that it was this author until literally like 3 hours ago.
Mhm.
So,
Are they Chinese? I've just assumed they were Chinese. Are they Chinese?
The author?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yes.
I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah, she's a first generation immigrant from a small town, China.
Oh,
Yep.
that's cool.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah. There has been like in the last sort of 5 years a big lot of short story stuff, especially Chinese stuff, getting translated for the first time when there has not been a lot of translated Chinese sci-fi and Chinese fantasy before. If you haven't read Invisible Planets by Ken Liu, he like translates old Chinese sci-fi for like a modern audience. It's really interesting.
Ken Liu is on my list of want to read authors for next year.
Ken Liu is very good.
Can you?
Yes.
I'll have to add them as well.
Right? I know Azam.
The Three Bodies Problem, if I'm not mistaken, which is
Oh,
another
that's
series.
not him.
No, I know, but
Oh,
that's another
Jish-
Chinese
Jishin Liu,
translation, I believe.
Yeah.
What is it called?
You know, like the main recommend for that book is that Obama read it and he's obsessed with the three-body problem.
Really?
Yeah.
It's called The Three Body
Nice.
Problem, though.
We have like a little Obama quote on the shelf at work.
I love that.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think at some point it should be mentioned that it felt really refreshing to have a main character who just is allowed to be angry.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
let them be angry, let them rage, let them get
Mhm.
it out, and they don't need to apologize to anybody. Just
Right.
it's awesome.
Yeah. And they don't need to explain themselves because we as a reader can see the reason they are angry and it's laid out very clearly for us. It's like, this is why they are pissed off. This is why they are doing what they're doing.
Right. Even though it had a very strong feminine agenda, but everything was just like, yes, go get it, go kill everybody, go do it. Like, just,
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like even now we're still told as a society, like, hey, don't rage out. Just like, not necessarily keep it to yourself, but at least don't outwardly, publicly express it. If not, like,
Yeah.
write it in a notebook or talk to a therapist or, maybe just hash it out with your like significant other or parent or something like that. Like, just go and tell somebody else. Don't necessarily like just like rash out just to rash out. But this was like, nope, do whatever the heck you want. And I like that.
Just
Please.
get it done.
yes, nobody please follow this for like mental health advice.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Don't do
Yeah.
that.
No way.
Don't do that.
God.
We're not encouraging you to go off people.
No, but in this extreme situation,
Yeah. Waterboarding is still against the Geneva Convention. So
Yes.
don't do this at home, kids.
please don't get a giant robot and like completely destroy all society.
Well, I don't know. That does sound pretty cool. Actually.
Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but that's okay. I did really, no, I didn't really enjoy, and this is another little piece that just didn't work for me, is how convenient everything seemed when she found the older pilot. I can't remember his name, but the one who was in cryo sleep or something for 200
Oh,
years.
the Emperor, the old
Yeah.
Emperor.
Fair.
Yeah.
It just all felt very convenient to me. But
But they did say from the beginning of the story that he was out there.
yeah, and just they've been doing these battles for what, like 1,000 years,
Oh,
Yeah.
ages.
2,000 years, ages, right? And he's been out there for 200 years, and she's been in quite a few battles. Li Shimin has been in at least a dozen battles. So in the 200 years at least, there's been hundreds of battles.
Hmm.
And it just so happened that this chosen one, Iron Widow, at like one of her first few 5 battles, finds this frozen emperor. I don't know. It just felt a little convenient. I don't know.
I think, yeah, I can see that, but also I think they found it. They said that this was the first time they ever made it that far out
True.
to the volcano, and they said that
Mhm.
he was able to freeze himself because he was near the volcano. But it is convenient.
Unless everybody else was being deliberately kept away.
Oh,
True.
that's a good point.
I feel like
Okay.
there is a lot of stuff like that could happen later in the series that could change a lot of the way I see things in book one.
Mhm.
I need to know who's controlling everything.
Yes.
And does this become, now that we know that we're not even on Earth and that in the entire society that we're following is following Chinese culture and traditions from Earth, that has this actually become a byproduct of like a race to space or a Cold War kind of situation where we're colonizing different planets?
It
And
absolutely could, yeah.
yeah, that would be amazing.
Because with single countries funding space travel, you are absolutely going to get like colonies with a very, very main concentration of a single race, a single society, especially with like Russia is going to do it, China is going to do it. Like the big three are going to go up and like start segregating themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
But do you think this book is pessimistic in the way that it's like society will always regress to a base state of women being oppressed?
It's definitely a dystopian.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, 100% it's dystopian.
Can you have a dystopian that's not slightly pessimistic?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
I
Because
guess
like,
so.
yeah, it was kind of like in a way I could see it like that, but also like it didn't bring me down. It didn't make me
Yeah.
think illy of like, oh yeah, well this is just always going to be it. So
Yeah.
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 I
at least
mean,
on me personally. So
it's sad to think that maybe, but I mean, just looking at at the world now, and that, like we've said earlier, we're in the future right now. There's technology, like we have the most amazing, life changing things, but there's still femicide. There's still atrocities against women in various cultures. There's just horrible, horrible things happening daily and simultaneously right now. So
mhm.
who knows if that's ever going to stop being a thing.
Maybe
If
it's sort of
prejudice
like
is
a
ever stop being a thing.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe it's sort of like a like if you don't stop this now, this is where it's going to spiral out of control to
Yeah.
kind of thing. Not that it's not friggin' out of control already, but
Right. Yeah.
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 She's pretty smart.
She asks logical questions.
Yeah, she's pretty
Love it.
good
it
up
makes you
there.
wonder why no one else has asked the questions though.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was one thing I was thinking about. I was like, she could not be the only one that's angry.
But they
And
did say
questioning
that there had
things.
been other Iron Widows, and we still don't know what that means. That's still like a throwaway line.
True. I forgot
Yeah,
about that.
that's true.
Because they were like right at the start, they were like, "Oh, you're an Iron Widow." She's like, "What does that mean?" They're like, "Sometimes a woman this happens," and that she's like, "There was more of this. What
Mhm.
happened?" And they're like, never mind."
Well, we know that
Maybe
they
they
killed them
all
all.
get. Oh, you get stuff.
No, I was just saying we know that they killed them all. That no one lasts
Yeah.
past 25, so they just killed them all.
I was like, maybe like the whoever's controlling the world, like just like zapped them up and took them all away.
I want to know
They're
why
like, you're gonna cause
women are
too many
left as
problems,
tributes. Because
so
the
we're
women are left
gonna.
as tributes to the gods as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they eat them.
Or maybe maybe the reason no one makes it past 25 is because the most powerful soldiers who last that long are taken to other planets to help colonize those other planets with stronger molecules.
Oh.
Oh damn!
And conspiracy theory.
It's kind of like Logan's Run, like in the way that like you hit 30 and that's it, and no one questions that.
It still happens today.
It does still happen, yeah.
It's
And
very
like I don't know if it's like in like urban China, but definitely still in like rural China. It definitely
Yeah.
happens.
It's a very old tradition, so I don't think it's common anymore in like mainstream or westernized societies. Um, yeah,
Maybe the deaths of the other Iron Widows happened before this whole like sportification of it. So like before the media was watching absolutely everything. Like they absolutely couldn't kill Zetian because they pulled her out and all the cameras saw her and she was like ha 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 ha. She was just like off the rails.
I love it.
Yeah. This is why I'm saying she's smart. She knew that she could get away with the media.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I love it. It was it's like there was moments where this felt like an adult book, but then there's other moments where it read kind of young. Like the
Right.
whole crowning scene. I was like, okay, YA trope. We have a masquerade. We have royalty. There's crowns. There's pretty outfits. Okay, great. Like, go to
It
bed.
reminded me of Hunger Games.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I wasn't so sure about Yizzy for most of the book. I didn't trust him. I still kind of don't trust him. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I feel the same.
What happened to his dad? I can't even remember what happened
He
to his
went
dad.
flat.
Killed him.
Oh,
He
I
fell off
kind
the
of, I kind of wanted more of the dad.
Oh,
Like, I
well,
kind
he
of
went
wanted.
black.
No, I know, but like, I kind of wanted more of like, if not just him, like an exploration of his criminal empire and what that actually was doing.
That
I'm
could have been
curious
more
to
believable.
see his other sons because he said he inherited the 4 point whatever billion, but he's
Oh
fifth
yeah,
in
he's got loads of
line.
kids, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no. That's a good question. I did like that they that whole video that he tried to use against her, that it never became a thing, and that she's like, oh yeah, okay, goodbye. Like
Yeah.
I was so happy that we didn't have to live through that. I was worried that was going to be what's it called, the third act breakup, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In like romance where it's like right before the end of the book and then they break up and then they happily get back together.
Right.
was
Like that just
really-
always happens to have like always happens in like the last third of the book. It's like, oh, we need some big dramatic thing to
Yeah.
like
No.
make them
No.
make us think it's not gonna come back together in the end. So
Nope. She was like, oh
Nope.
yeah, pew.
What did you think of the romance aspect of the book?
Wholesome.
Yeah. Okay, would you guys have wanted to know beforehand of how the romance would end up? Because the author posted on their Twitter and I saw somebody comment was like, why did you feel the need to reveal this to like your readers before they read it? Like spoil like where the romance is going? And she was like, because I know a lot of people don't like love triangles. So
Yeah,
would you
but
think you would know before or no?
I kind of
mean,
feel
I'd
like
prefer
it was
not
probably
to.
yeah.
I mean,
I
because love
prefer not
triangles
to
don't
as well.
bother me.
Oh,
But
I have no idea what any of you just said.
I don't. Yeah, go, Max. Yeah.
I think that I feel like maybe it was revealed to be a selling point because
Oh.
I know that a lot of people would go into this book picking it up because they would find that interesting to read about. So I think maybe it is revealed and be like, buy this book because there's X in it.
That's a
But
point.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hard to say.
Pew, pew.
I mean, I was refreshed by it, and like I didn't know about that really going into it, or I wasn't really aware of it. But I was worried that it was going to be a love triangle, and I'm not really a fan of love triangles. So just the fact that I was like, oh, they all get to be happy, yay! Like, we'll be happy.
Everyone
The
gets
fact
to
that
be
they were
happy.
happy right after waterboarding someone, not so great, but it's fine.
But you know what? It's okay.
Didn't you know that waterboarding someone is the most romantic thing you can do with your partner?
Yeah,
That's
That's like
together.
a wholesome couples activity.
Most romantic date you can have. Might as well propose to each other after too.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. But see, that even in itself, again, if Zetian didn't feel anything because she was just so enraged at that point that she was accepting of it, even to see Lee Min after that to come back to the apartment and just kind of maybe have like a breakdown and a realization of, oh my god, I just did this, and the other two are supporting him in his breakdown, would have felt a little bit more realistic and given us a little bit more depth as to the depth of Zetian's rage.
She was like mostly angry and not much else. And I did want to see like, and I understand why, but I did want to see like her, definitely like you said, her examination of herself a little bit more.
Maybe book 2.
Maybe book 2, hopefully. Is it going to be a trilogy? Did she say?
Let's
No
see
idea.
what Goodreads says if they have that updated.
Yeah, I'd be so mad at Goodreads if there's not actually a book 2.
You know, there is a book 2 on Goodreads. It just doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
There's no title or anything yet?
No,
yeah, it just says untitled. And it just has 2 so far for the series.
Okay.
That's okay.
The duology might be the perfect length for this.
I like a duology, you know. I do like a duology.
I prefer duologies, I feel like.
We need more duologies.
A lot of trilogies have like bad book 2 syndrome.
Yeah.
And if you do a duology, you can get rid of that.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Really?
What? What do you mean?
Okay.
Explain.
Tell
Tell
us
us
more.
more.
I'm not prepared.
Can't leave us hanging like this, Hugo.
Oh.
I am not.
And then, like, of all the people who got splattered, the first other female pilot that she met in the background,
the white tiger.
Oh, white tiger.
it's the white tiger one. Out of everyone that she got revenge on, I'm surprised not her, considering that she smashed her face.
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, we're not gonna rage out." Oh
yeah, I know she has a different book coming out, like a different.
Oh, is the
Or it
Yu-Gi-Oh
came
one
out
not
already?
part of the series? Okay.
I saw that book. I saw that cake. It was a cool cake.
If it's based on Yu-Gi-Oh, is it going to be 600 chapters long and nothing is going to happen?
Oh God. I hope not.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
But back to the white tiger thing. I was really happy when they were like, F this, and went to like go help them, try to help them. I was like,
I think with the chrysalis is coming back to the wall and like going to the city, I feel like that was a kind of a metaphor for like being okay with violence when it's somewhere else. And as soon as it's like on your doorstep, they're like, oh, problem.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah. And speaking of victims, the kids who are now orphans, or the kids that were being used as ransom against the pilot of the tortoise.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for them. Because she didn't want to do it. She did it to protect your kids. I don't know. I just felt so conflicted. Like,
I feel like it was very clear that like the society that had been built by a few people and was making everybody horrible, but there were very different standards for judging different people by Zetian. There were like some people, she's like, you're a product of society, that you got messed up by society. And then some people, she was like, you made a choice to be bad. And it's like, yeah, but where do you draw the line with that kind of thing? You have to really assess individual cases and take more than 5 seconds to do it.
Right.
I feel like one thing that might have pushed her over a bit that made her kill like the tortoise robot was like when they're like, well, you better not do anything out of line either, or else they'll go get your family. And she's like, oh, really now?
See, I didn't read it. Okay, this is one of those moments when inflection matters, because I didn't read that specific quote in that way, but from Zetian's interpretation, I later understood it to be that way. Like, oh yeah, well you shouldn't,
Mhm.
whatever. But for some reason when I read it in more of a caring way, like they're gonna come for your family too. I don't
There
know.
might even have been some when she like smushed her mum. There might even have been some element of like, I'm doing this so that you can't blackmail me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she did hesitate shooting down like the pilot with the shooting down the helicopter with somebody's dad, the like really because there were kids. He was holding kids hostage in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah, because when they were at her mum's house, the tortoise lady was very like, "Oh, you should bring family.
Yeah, you should bring them.
Yeah, you should get them all on board with this." Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
She's conniving.
That
She
makes
is.
sense.
Hmm.
I don't know. Also, just a side note, the whole ice skating thing and everyone making her ice skate, and I'm just thinking about her feet and like all the pain. How?
Oh yeah.
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 Oh my god. I can't imagine.
Do you think she would still have bound feet in like the yin yang realm in her head?
Good question.
And how reversible is the damage of bound feet?
Right.
Because you have to keep them bound. Like, would she be able to, now being more in control of her own life, would she be able to take steps to be more physically able?
Maybe with some extreme surgery. Because since
Yeah.
it's done at such a young age, I would think that after all this time, it's beyond a point of you just re-break the bone and heal it.
Yeah, but I mean, like you say, it's irreversible, but like they do have giant magic robots.
True.
That's true.
So, like, maybe you can fix one person's janky feet. Oh yeah, so maybe they're like still aesthetically bound, but she wouldn't be
Feel
held
it.
back by the pain of it. Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
Would she now have dreams of the other person as well,
I would think so.
having been in the triangle formation with them?
Yeah.
I keep forgetting his name. What is his name?
Yeezy?
Right, me too.
Yuji. I forget his name. He's the one I forget.
I mean, I don't know. But he's just a power source though. He's not really on the mind link with them.
I guess so.
True.
But he might
Yeah,
have to
because
be
she
now
never
that
had.
Li Shimin's not there.
So Yeezy being able to give them power, does that mean he has the potential to be a pilot, or does everyone have some key in them?
I think everyone has
Everyone
key.
does.
I think
Yeah.
everyone has the potential, but it's like society is selective.
Yeah.
They're like you have to have a certain amount of it to be able to pilot it. So they say.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's that because, or maybe it's because he has the potential or enough key to have been a pilot, but because his father is so influential that it's kind of like, I have enough money and pull to not send my son out to war.
Sure, yeah.
Did we ever get his key number
No. So,
in the book?
no. Yeah, that.
Yeah. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm so interested in the Emperor.
Yeah, me too.
Funny.
I don't know how I feel yet about I don't know. I kind of like it, but I kind of don't of the he's waking up from cryo sleep, whatever. He's in the pilot, and she's like, "Oh yeah, just so you know, society, this, and he's like, "All right, cool." And then
Yeah, he does seem to be like instantly okay with everything.
He seems so chill about everything.
She's like, "We're gonna take over the world." He's like, "All right."
I hope she doesn't kill him or attempt to.
No,
She's probably
I
gonna
don't think
attempt
so.
to.
Oh, probably.
Like we
Yeah,
don't
because she
know.
was like, he's starting to like gain more of his own power, so she's like, I'm worried about that. kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And we did get a glimpse at some of his values being related to the ones that she's against. So it depends. We don't know.
One thing I would be interested to see, like what their deal is there were all the people in the wild that were like, please save the emperor, and who were still like devout followers of the emperor. Do you remember when they had the sign that was like, can you cure him?
Yeah.
I feel like if they're brought in as a group, as like a faction in book 3 or book 2,
Mm.
Yeah.
could
believe
be. Is she gonna have the dragon, or is she gonna stay in the bird? What do you think?
Well, the
Dragon. Yeah, the bird.
bird's dead.
Oh yeah, the bird got smashed to pieces. Huh?
So she might stay in the dragon. She might just become a single pilot of the dragon and absorb what's his face. Yeah. And be like the first lone pilot. Or maybe work with the money that Yeezy now has to create a single pilot system. And then it becomes like an entire army of all female pilots. I don't know.
Or maybe make the chairs equal in
Yeah.
how much they like get input from.
Well,
Yeah, she might get a new one. They might just make her a new
Yeah.
I reckon it'll be a fox again. Like she was painted as a fox by the media.
Yeah.
So I reckon it'll be a fox.
Oh, I feel so bad for the aliens now.
This is gives me so much life. This is the I can't say it, but it's spoilery, but my favorite anime of all time, and it borrowed a trope from there, and I was like, yes!
What do you think is their end game?
What is their end game?
Yeah, like the people living on the space station, pretty much. What do you think their end game is? Like, why are they doing this?
Other than colonizing and getting more resources and expanding, and
I don't think that's the end game.
You don't think really?
I feel like the end game is that the Hunduns are a resource, and this planet is the only place that resource is, and it's the only place to get the spirit metal. So they
that's
just
right.
because they leave offerings of the spirit metal for the gods, and I feel like this is just like a strip mine.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Makes total sense.
I feel like they probably everybody living there, they didn't want them to know that it wasn't their planet, so
Yeah, no,
they will give
definitely
away
hidden.
resources. Yeah,
Absolutely.
for free.
Mm.
Free labor.
Free labor, yeah, free labor and entertainment, which is kind of gross.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Okay, what else do we want to say? Is there anything
Is there
else?
any other spoilery stuff we want to talk about?
This has nothing to do with anything, but every time it said Hunduns, I don't know, the instant thing that came to my mind was like Hun bots, which is like what you call like women who do like MLMs and things like that. So that's just the image I had during the entire time. The ones that like hit you up on Facebook after you graduated like 7 years ago, and it's like, hey girl, how you doing? They call them like the trend is like Hun bots. So that's just the only thing that. So I saw Hunduns, and that was like the immediate thing that came to my mind. Which has nothing to do with anything, because that's not what they were like. But that's what was going through this brain. So,
do you think they were called Hunduns deliberately, as in like a reference to the Hun?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
One scene that made me laugh was when they were running away, and Yiju was like, "You can't shoot me, I'm rich."
That was great.
I was like, that's so sad that it's true.
right?
Fantastic. Also, the titles of each chapter were great.
Oh, interesting.
I'm about to look that up now.
Were the people called the Hun called that by the Chinese because of the demons?
That's a great question.
Learning
Let's Google
so
it.
much.
We're learning here.
Here, I'm Googling it. Your faceless being in Chinese primordial and center chaos. Chinese cosmology compared to the world egg. Hmm.
So, has anyone seen Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten
Yes.
Rings?
I've not.
Yes, I have.
Yes,
Apparently, I
have.
just googled Hundun, and the first thing that came up was the little beast that has wings
Morris?
with no face.
Oh, is that what they're
Forrest?
called?
Oh, yes, Morris. That was his name. I was
Morris.
trying to remember his name. Yes, I just googled Hundun, and that was the first image to come up.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do
Oh,
a lot of
we've
reading
been
for this.
given a picture.
Oh, I'm not looking. Hold on.
Oh, it is the thing from Shang-Chi.
Huh.
Huh.
Spoiler chat.
We learn
But
something new
Morris
every
is so
day.
cute.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a lot of digging for this. This is not something I can just
Yeah.
easily.
Interesting. This discussion will be continued on the Discord.
Yes.
So interesting. Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah, it makes you want to go and learn.
You know, I really felt for Zetian and the sense of like she has all this anger and her family is the cornerstone foundation of her anger, yet she is able to give all that rage to everyone, but when she's confronted with her family again, she reverts to just being a girl. It is really heartbreaking,
Yeah.
and that's completely understandable in my opinion, because I can see where some people might have an issue with that of like, why are you still giving your mom the satisfaction and like blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But
I think that happens to everyone though. I think everyone gets like kind of kiddie when their like mum's up in their face.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't-
heard this too. Yeah, they were actually like real characters. I think it was the Tang Dynasty.
Mm.
It's the future, but it's not really the future.
Right.
Wait, you mean in this or?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, and the
Oh,
But she
cool.
mentions that in the forward prologue bit.
Mhm.
She's like, there will be names of historical people, but this is like they are not them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, on her YouTube channel, there's 2 videos on how a nun became China's only female emperor.
I have to go and watch all the videos on their YouTube channel now. It
Yes.
sounds really
Right.
interesting.
You can binge it this week. Okay.
Huh. Cool. Is that spoilers? Book 2 spoilers?
Maybe.
I mean, she kind of rules the world now, no?
Yeah, she kind of emperor anyway. You say obviously Wu Zetian is named for the Chinese empress, but like I didn't know that.
No.
So, but I'm glad I'm learning though.
Yes. This is awesome.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see like a proper breakdown of who everybody is named after and how that is plot relevant, because I'm sure she would have like chosen people for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's history.
Well, now you can see how well our history was. So, in our
No,
history
we
classes.
love learning. Give us the information, all of it.
I don't know what else to say.
Are you gonna read the sequel?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna read
definitely.
Instabuy. Whenever that comes out.
it. Yeah.
No. I feel like I'm gonna think of something right after the live show ends. Like, oh wait, that thing I want to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always happens.
Which else I watched that movie? Ah, okay.
Okay.
Mm.
So you were watching their channel first. So for you, it was like, whoa, this YouTuber just wrote a book. And for us, it's like, whoa, this author has a YouTube.
Right.
That was, and someone explained it right about being the wall. I think.
I think it is the wall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the only part that I was a little confused about too, but that makes perfect sense. You know what
Everyone
would be
was
cool
so mad.
though? You know
What
what
would
would have
be
been
cool?
cool, and maybe we'll get it later if we get like a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers moment, and all of the chrysalises become one giant chrysalis. Like we've got the arms and we've got the head.
That would be funny.
Cool. And then they all have to work together, and they're all in one
Aw.
giant brain melt.
The power of friendship.
friendship.
They're gonna get so many memories
Friendship
from
is
each other.
magic.
Yes.
One thing I don't understand is if they can, like, they have the single person like armor that they just wear around.
Yeah.
Like, why is that not used for combat?
The single person armor?
Yeah, because
I
they're
think
like
'cause-
they walk around with like spirit armor on them rather than like being in a giant robot. Like, why can't they use that?
I think
Why do
because
they need a robot?
the Hundans are humongous.
Because they're big.
Was what I
Yeah, but if you're
they're
little,
really
you can
big.
be sneaky.
Yeah, that's what I was like Attack on Titan vibes with the little people
Yeah.
killing them. But
Swinging around.
That's a great question because
Yeah.
it's a tactical choice to make these giant robots that you need two people to be able to pilot. But if they're significantly smaller robots that a single person can work with, then you have a larger army, no?
I guess so. Yeah, but were they made into big robots purely to be like hero figures, to be like worshipped, basically, because they're like all representing things from mythology. They're clearly built to be like
Gods.
looked at with awe. Yeah, like basically gods. Yeah.
Mm.
maybe the people controlling the planet was like, you have to use these.
Do you think anyone in the society that they're in has the full picture?
The sages?
You think maybe? I don't know.
I feel like they have some of it.
Aren't they coordinating it? Or
They
no?
do have drones. Yeah, that's right, actually. I
Yeah.
totally forgot about the drones, but you're right. They did have drones.
Yeah.
Who's controlling the drones, though?
They got it from the people controlling the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, controlling their world at least.
Well,
The heavenly gods or whatever.
that's what I think. It's kind of like partly the drones are the people controlling the planet, but then also partly the news media drones. Going along.
Mhm.
Like now live from the battlefield. Da, 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 da. Like because they made it sound like they always won their battles, obviously, because now we know this is a mining situation.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
what is the show? I don't remember the show, but maybe someone else will think of it. But they broadcasted it almost like, like a wrestling match or something like that. Like who's gonna win? But obviously the good guy always wins because whatever, you need your fuel.
Yeah. Hmm.
Use the armor, but I doubt they'd be able to do key blast power enough. That's a good question.
Yeah.
It depends on the size of the Hunduns, I guess. Because some of them were described as being the size of a house. So how much energy is needed for that?
And if you're doing your key blast anyway, and that's coming from you, could you not do the same massive key blast out of your tiny armor as out of your giant armor?
I would think so. If the same amount of key is being used to pilot and run the larger machine.
Yeah. Surely you'd have more to spare in a tiny little machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if they can create those, I know they were saying they pulled the weapons out of their chests. So
Yeah.
if they have the ability to create these armors, they should have the ability to create smaller sized weapons.
Mhm.
I would think so. Yeah.
I think that she did in like the beginning of the book. She created a knife to stab the dude in the yin yang realm.
Mhm.
Yeah, they are made from Hundan husks, but we still don't know how, because that's like a super secret sagey thing. They haven't told anyone how the Hundan husks become giant robots. Although, how you keep a giant robot a secret until it's finished, I don't know.
Well, are they creating the giant robots there, or are the giant robots being what's left after the gifts to the gods?
No, because I think it specifically says like that the sages know the secret of creating chrysalises.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they got diagrams that were dropped to them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
All I imagine is like other people and they're just holding like the strings to everyone on this planet. Puppeteering them.
I mean, technically, yeah. Is Sima Yi this main strategist that was working with them? Is he dead? Or is he alive?
No, I don't think he's dead.
Oh, he's not?
I don't
I thought
think so.
he died with the watchtower when she went to like destroy the watchtower.
I don't know.
Because I think he was in on the plan, or at least he didn't stop the plan to kill them. Yeah.
Poor Hondas. Yeah, maybe like the robot like focuses it or channels it or something.
That's a good
Right.
point.
Yeah.
She's so cool.
This is like sci-fi brain now. We're like, yes, but how does it work?
Right.
Oh, I love it. So maybe that's what the Hundun husks are for, is the ability to channel that energy. I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like we're definitely gonna have more revealed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that the world build isn't like some books. They're like in book 1 is like, here is every piece of information, and then book 2 is like, now we can get on with the story.
Yeah.
But like now we still don't have the whole picture, and I really like that.
Yes.
Right.
We're waiting for information. Like, how does this fit together with this? Fit together with this?
Definitely. Yeah. And I do worry about what's going to happen with Zetian's rage in the next book. And I just worry about how that's going to be handled. Like, does she get to continue raging? Or if she does continue raging, does it become old very quickly? Or
Yeah, I worry about that.
Yeah.
I feel like she's gonna have an arc in at least one book where she's just straight up a villain.
That'd be cool. If it
It's like
can't be
book
argued.
1's a villain origin story.
Yeah.
Oh, on the author's Twitter, she has a link to Chinese history. It says Chinese history, and there's a link.
Oh, cool.
Ah.
I
I know what
think
I'm
it
doing
links-
after this.
Definitely
Yeah.
gonna check that out. Yeah.
We have so much
It
stuff
links to a bunch of her own tweets about everything, I think.
Ooh.
I feel like that's good because the author has been like, yes, most people will not know this, but
Right.
here is the sources. Educate yourselves.
Yes. Go do.
Exactly.
Educate
yourself.
Yay. Cool.
Anything else we want to say before we talk about next month's thing?
I think so.
Think so. It was a good time. It was great. It was so fun. I really wish it was 5 stars. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
me too.
I'm being picky. But it was great. It was fabulous. Go read it. Go vote for it. It's great.
I feel like
Yes.
this book is like a 4.5, but I might give the whole series as a series 5 stars. Do you know what I mean? It could go either way.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
We don't have a date for book 2 yet, do we?
No, I don't think so.
2022? No. 23?
Well, it already has like 4.5 stars, so
How's that possible?
Oh,
No idea.
they do that. Like, people will rate books they've never read.
Yep, it just says expected publication 2022 on Goodreads.
I'm about to look up some Chrysalis fan art.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll put
whoever
some in
sent
on
them
Discord.
on the Discord, thank you.
Hell yeah.
It was very helpful.
Oh, wait, someone did?
Yeah. It's in the I
Definitely
think it
gonna
was
have
in
a
the
look
part
after this.
two way of the bird chat. If you scroll all the way up.
Oh.
Past all the bald people.
Yeah. There Oh, Stella Headhunter. there's like a spoiler over the picture.
Okay. I'll look for it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I think that's it. So next month, are we going to be on Jess's channel?
Yes.
Yes.
Thunder.
Everybody's channel is linked in the description, so make sure you subscribe to everybody and go check out their stuff. And we're going to be on Jess's next time. And we're going to be doing Escaping First Contact by Tina Bayer. Ooh,
Woo! So, do you want me to read the brief you sent?
Definitely, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It says, it is book 1 in the Burnt Ship trilogy, Escaping First Contact. At the far edge of cultivated space, a derelict ship rests. 10 times larger than the biggest Terran dreadnought, the ship is not recognized by any of the 5 species tenuously coexisting in the galaxy. Small crews are sent to investigate. What they find is a trap. Once in the metal labyrinth's clutches, it is clear the unlikely allies will not escape unless they can work together as a team. Unfortunately, trust and cooperation are entirely out of the question. An immersive tale of escape and camaraderie, Escaping First Contact brings together an unforgettable cast of characters, richly detailed alien cultures, deft humor, and explosive action.
I am hyped for this book.
Aliens!
I'm ready.
I'm super excited. I'm ready for this.
Hyped.
So try and get your hands on a copy and read it before like the middle of December.
Yes.
We don't have a date yet for the next live show, but we're going to put that on the Discord. And if you read it along with us, you'll know what we're screaming about in the next one.
And it's not thick either.
It's not a huge book, no.
It's less than 300 pages.
Perfect.
Easy.
Yes. Doable.
Doable.
Ooh, and then also we're going to open up for, I guess, because we're heading to the end of the year pretty soon, for recommendations for quarter 1 of 2022.
Yes. We want all your recommendations.
Yes. If
Put all your favorite sci-fi books in the chat.
Yes, drop them in the chat. We'll open that up probably sometime soon because I know the holidays coming around, and anyone who wants to just get any book shopping done early, if you want to get yourself something for Christmas, it could be one of the books that we're going to read in the next couple months. So we'll get that started.
Treat yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't get better than that. Cool.
Yeah. So
Okay, friends.
I think that's about it. So we'll see you next time on Jess's channel. Thanks for joining us for the live show.
Bye, everybody.